Normally when I meet people through people. So it's always mutual. So they'll be like, okay, well, I know this girl, Kaylee, XYZ, blah, blah, and her mom's gay. So then they'll be like...
that's part of your description. How do you feel about that?
I like it. It makes me different.
Because it annoys me.
Why does it annoy you?
Because I'm more, like, lesbian is like...
You're a person, but that makes you cool.
Really?
They think you're cool. Yeah, they think you're cool.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll take the cool.
I remember when they were a little younger and we were wearing the same size shoes. I could never find a pair of shoes because my kids are in my sneakers. To this day, we share the same shirts.
Yeah, I have on one of your shirts right now.
Yeah, he has on my sweater. We don't wear the same jeans, thank God.
Do you want to have a family of your own?
Not necessarily.
Absolutely. Yep. My time is running out.
Do I want to have kids? I do most of the time want to have children. And I guess I want to get married at some point.
Love to have children. I love kids. I talk to them all the time. I love kids so much. I mean, like, granted, I like them up until a certain age, so like that part of parenthood is what makes me happy. And then I keep thinking, like, when I see my sister who's 13 now, I'm like, fuck. Like, am I gonna have to go through like that part, you know? Ooh.
I absolutely want to have kids. I don't know for sure if by my own it would mean I am the birth mother or if my partner's the birth mother or we adopt, but regardless, I absolutely want to have kids.
A lot of queer women of color in my life are making decisions around having families, so I feel like really blessed to have models of what that could look like.
I came out when Kayla was maybe 7.
8.
Okay, 8, sure.
Yeah, 8,
okay,
8. Yeah.
You didn't even remember how I came out to you.
I do remember.
You remember now
because
I told you?
No, because I remember.
Okay, all right.
I don't remember being upset, but she says that I was upset. I don't remember.
Well, her reaction was, I don't want you to be like a different mom. I want you to be a regular mom. So, again, I had prepared for this, so I read all these books, so I knew that the possibility of her trying to compare me to other moms was pretty high. So I just talked to her and tried to remind her who I was, and in comparison to other moms that she was kind of bringing up, I do the same things. I talk to her, I take care of her.
She's a regular mom.
Right, I'm a regular mom.
Still nags as much.
Yeah.
She's just a regular mom.
Okay, great.
I always kinda knew, like, the stuff you see around the house, like, I always knew. And one day, me and my brother were in the room, and she came and she asked us, like, how do we feel about it? And I couldn't feel a type of way. I mean, that's my mother at the end of the day, so.
And 2, they were really young when I started dating women and really came out. So growing up as toddlers, preteens, it's all they knew, all they saw, and it was pretty natural to them.
What comes to your mind when you think of modern family?
I think your modern family is not the usual mom, dad, 2 girls, 2 boys, or a boy and a girl situation. It's anything out of that, perfect household. That's what I think the modern family is.
I really think of interracial families. I think of, gay household families. I think of adopted families. Pretty much everything that isn't within that 50s traditional, maybe cookie cutter family. That's what I see as modern at this point.
How do you want to go about creating your family?
I don't know how I want to create a family. I just know when I do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it well.
Honestly, I think I really will be pretty lenient on how I decide. There are a number of ways that I know. Like, I know I'm going to have more than 1 child, so I know that there's 1 or 2 ways that I will go about it. But for the most part, I want to make sure, however I decide to have children, my partner's comfortable with too.
I think
The way that we want to go about having children would be to get sperm from one of our brothers. So I have 3 brothers and Crystal has 1 brother. So I think we can maybe get sperm from one of our brothers and use one of our eggs, and do it that way. So I think that's the way we're going to go about having, like bearing children. But we definitely want to adopt. We want to adopt older kids. So we would raise like our biological children with the understanding that at a certain age they will be getting brothers and sisters around the same age.
This is my dad and my mom right here put together. So, I mean, it's good to have my father there. Don't get me wrong, but my mom, like,
I've done
everything.
So that's how they see it. They've lived with me. I'm like the main parent, so to speak. Their dad's in their life. He takes care of them. He sees them. He shops for them. But he has his own life, and I have my own life. And being that they're with me, they get to experience a lot more things with me. They have to come to me for a lot more things. But he's still there if they need him.
When it comes to her dad, I mean, I let her have her relationship with her dad. He's a parent. I respect him. Now that she's a teenager, she's now aware of his involvement in her life, and I think she wants more. And there's a bit of disappointment there, right? So my sexuality does come into play as far as the conversation with him. That is a part of his issue, but that's nothing to do with his with his parenting or lack thereof. So I know that people in opposition of my sexuality would try to make that a part of the conversation, but it's really not, because I don't introduce my daughter to my lifestyle where kids shouldn't be. I'm a parent first and foremost, and if you don't like it, then scoop, scoop.
Are you open to having the father or biological parents involved?
Well, yes and no. I mean, our brothers would be their uncles, and I think that's the way that it's going to be understood. I don't think they're going to be their dad. I think it'll be too confusing. And Crystal and I want to parent together. We don't necessarily want to share those parenting obligations with anyone else, and have full control over our kids.
I feel like there's so many questions that come along with, why do I have 2 moms, or why do I have 1 mom? And, in actuality, you don't, unless there's a test tube or something like that. And so if the person is alive and wants to be a part of it, hell yeah.
Definitely. I think it would be crazy actually not to, if I did something like that, if I wanted someone to help me create life, whether we were going to be together or not, unless they don't want to be involved, of course, if they were just doing this out of pure love or volunteerism. But yeah, I would love to have that person involved.
I struggle with that all the time, and I'm not sure I'm old enough or at a mature enough place to really understand the implications of having the biological person, the parent or not, involved. And again, that's probably something I would decide with my partner. I see a lot of pluses and minuses to both. Gut reaction is no. When I have a family, I want it to be between my partner and myself, and I don't want to share my kids, but I'm not opposed to discussing it.
It's not necessary because it can be done. Single women raise boys, girls, children every day, but I prefer for my kids to have that father figure in their lives, because I could teach them so many things, but there's just a difference when a man, teaches you certain responsibilities, certain things you have to deal with in life as a man, because at the end of the day, I am not a man. So it's just certain things that I just cannot relate to, and they have that right to have that other parent in their lives.
Should we reevaluate what constitutes a family so that all families have the same rights and privileges?
Absolutely, I think that should be changed, because as long as it's a child and there's a loving guardian there, the one that provides that child with food, clothing, and shelter, education, and his or her basic needs, that should be considered a family, point blank, period. It doesn't make a difference if it's a man or woman. It shouldn't make a difference if it's two dads, two moms. It shouldn't make a difference if it's the grandma, the auntie, or the uncle, or the father. As long as that child is being taken care of by some adult or some type of primary care, that should be considered the child's family automatically.
You know, just being a part of the Black diaspora in the United States, non-traditional family, based on the nuclear definition, is pretty much the makeup of where we come from. And if you think about just, you know, the more righteous, ancient civilizations, you know, family wasn't just this unit with biological father, biological mother, biological sibling, aunt and cousin, and uncle. It was everyone, you know, that same cliche, it takes a village. So we definitely need to examine what that is. And examine the roles and the importance of it.
I think rights around like health insurance are really important. That was the reason that Crystal and I got married. We basically had no choice. We either get married or I get dropped from her health insurance. So laws like that can be problematic because they force people to assimilate and accept ways of existing that they would otherwise not choose.
Just be proud of your parents. That's it, really. 'Cause I'm proud of my mom.
And forgive your parents. I mean, if you are a gay teen watching this, or you are, you know, I think that you should be as patient with your parents because you want to be as patient with you. If you are a couple trying to have a baby, the conversation should never stop when it comes to parenting. And you just have to be open. Try not to make any decisions at all. Have the conversations, but you can't come up with a conclusion because there's a third person to consider. And naturally, when you have a child, you can't put it really into words, but something happens. And yes, and be open to the biological parents. That's really, really important because same-sex couples, we have so much love to give, so we feel like it's already opposed for us to even have kids. So we're going to be that extra super parent anyway, but we can't fill all the pockets. So, and it's not a reflection that you're less than. I just think it's something that it should be an and, you know, an and type of conversation, not a either or versus. It's just and. It's just more and more things for your kids. So, and A&D is important.
One of the things that we don't see on the forefront a lot with the gay, lesbian community, people have this stigma as if you're incapable of raising kids, or you're so wrapped up in like the lifestyle that everyone else sees. Like, you know, lesbians is just all about going to the bars and going to the clubs and just hanging out, and that's it. I get up, I go to work every morning, I come home, I cook, do laundry, take care of my kids, pay bills. We do everything that everyone else does. So we don't really want to necessarily be minimized. We want to be maximized, and we want to somewhat not stand out, but be acknowledged.
All my friends know my mom's gay. They were like, for real? And I was like, yeah. And one day my friend Carlos came over to my house, and he met my mother's girlfriend, and he was like, this is dope. I was like, word? This is what I wake up to.
Boys. This is what I wake up to.